Welcome everybody to the show. I wouldn't be able to do this show without my fabulous looking guests. Put a hand of applause to yourselves, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. And welcome to the show. Now, when we talk about youth, what comes to mind is the gun crime, the knife crime. But there are also youth who have done so well. They've got A stars in the GCSE and the A levels. There are some youth who have done so well, they've turned their lives around. And one of my guests today is a youth. You know, the youth are the generation for the future. Amen. This is a youth that has turned his life around. From a troubled childhood, he's managed to turn his life around. And is now using his story to inspire the next generation. He's using his platform to make sure that the youth do not go offline. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my fabulous guest, who is here to share his story, and you'll be able to ask him questions later on. Please welcome Ivan Kayima. Hello, Ivan. It's a pleasure. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. Please do have a seat.
Thank you.
So, Ivan, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah. How was your journey down here?
It was longer than I expected.
Yeah?
But, yeah, but no, it's good to be I got here. Thanks. Good in God's name, so I'm happy to be here on Sunday, and thank you for having me.
You're most welcome, and thank you for honoring my invitation. Thank you so much. Now, Ivan, you know, when I called you and I asked you to come, because there's certain things that happen in your childhood that actually aligns with the vision for this show. So people want to know, who is Ivan? Let's start from the childhood.
So my name is Ivan Kayima. I'm of Ugandan heritage. I was born and raised in southeast London, Lewisham. I don't know if anyone knows Catford.
Yeah!
We've got a few people in the crowd, yeah. So I was born and raised in Catford in a place called Wilford Towers with myself, my auntie, her kids, my twin sister, my mum. There was like 7 of us in a 2-bedroom house. So as you can imagine, it was quite cramped, the situations. More about me, I lost my father and my brother at quite a young age. And so, it kind of led me going from a happy, nice kid to very misguided and angry and not knowing why and not coping or dealing with any issues that I had. Which definitely affected my upbringing and kind of got me into quite a few situations I shouldn't really got myself into.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the loss of your father and your brother led you to spiral out of control?
Yeah, so much so. I was hanging out with the wrong people, so it wasn't really so much me committing or doing much, it's just being around the wrong people and seeing them do things and me not having the confidence to know what's right or what's wrong. Until I was left hung to dry on my 16th birthday. I actually got arrested for just being an accessory, so just being there while crimes were being committed, but not so much myself doing anything.
Participating in it?
Yeah, so I didn't participate, but I was just around it. I saw it and I kind of, in a way, enabled it. And it was only really until I saw, the only people that had my back were my family, and not so much the people that were doing it. They didn't have my best interest at heart.
Of course not. When you hang around the wrong crowd, they always run and leave you in the hospital.
Exactly that, and it was that situation, even when I got charged for it, got taken to court, and it was from that point where I found not guilty. That's when it was a conscious effort of trying to change for the better.
And this was at 16 years old?
This was at 16 years old.
Had you dropped out of school, or were you still going to school?
No, still going to school. The thing is with school, I was always good with my hands, I was always good with science, always good with IT. It's just, I didn't really care for it. I kind of lost that passion. It was really seeing my mum cry and then kind of having mentors that really supported and pushed me, that really allowed me to want to be better and be better.
Okay. And now when you talk about losing your father, I would actually think of you maybe lost a male role model in your life. Did that affect you in any way?
Definitely that, because you start looking for those things in other people. So when you're a young kid, you're kind of looking for male guidance. I mean, I love my mum, but there's only so much I believe a woman can do to teach a man.
That's true.
So looking back now, I'm very thankful for what she's taught me. What I've been given.
She did the best that she could.
Exactly
with
that.
what she had
exactly
at the time.
Yeah, she did the very best she could, and not having that that male role model, kind of just, you know, having these older guys that were doing nice things for you, or just, you know, kind of being a big brother to you, you know, you seek that, you look for that. And it doesn't affect you now, but you realize in later life, especially now at my age, it's kind of like you look back and think, I didn't have that. I had to teach myself everything. I had to teach myself how to look after myself, I had to shave, to play sports, to just learn how to be a man. I had to go through those experiences and be a man. And so, yeah, it definitely did play a part in not having my father in my life.
Okay. And then how did you turn your life around? Because from what you mentioned in your book, you said you visited Uganda frequently. Was there a turnaround in your life whereby when you visited Uganda, something just kind of stopped? So you had that aha moment.
So going back to Uganda when I was a kid, it was really, really good because I was able to kind of help my Jaja in the village, grandma in the village.
We call it Jaja in Uganda.
Yeah, help my grandma in the village. Kind of gave me a sense of duty and work, and you know, when I got there, just kind of seeing, you know, not everybody was as fortunate as me, but yet people were so happy. And you know, it doesn't really matter to you much then because when you're young, all you think about is instant gratitude. You just want money, you just want everything. But as you go older, you realize happiness is paramount, peace of mind is paramount. And you know, going there was a very humbling experience for me. And it was a combination of that and just the people I started to be around, the people that refused to give up on me. That's when I started to turn and change for the better. So
actually going to Uganda made you realize what you had.
Yeah,
okay, and also the potential that you had.
Yeah. It was definitely that, you know, just going there, being able to kind of put my skills to use, being thrown into a situation, you know, being thrown into a situation and kind of getting myself out of it and learning the best ways I can, which has benefited me greatly today. And so yeah, Uganda was definitely a pivotal point in my understanding of how to be a good human.
And it's very true because, you know, a lot of kids that are born here, and maybe because of finances, because of one reason or another, some parents are not able to take them back to their country of origin. Would you advise parents that that would be something very important that parents could sacrifice and actually take their kids, whichever country they came from?
I would say yes, but of course it's dependent on the kid because a part of that child has to want to be better and do better. I mean, it's that saying, isn't it? You can take a cow to water, but you can't force it to drink it. So, with me, I think, but then I think with most young kids, we want guidance. We know we're lost, we're just too proud to ask for it, and we don't want to be seen weak. I mean, from the environment where I'm from, you have to be strong. Now, weakness is not good. It's not good at all. Code of ethics there. And so, you know, and you don't realize how mentally affecting it is when you grow up. I mean, as a young child, as a young kid, I shouldn't have seen half the things I saw, half the things I should have been through. And you know, when you speak to people of different environments and different, you know, privileges, you realize they didn't have these issues and these things, and it definitely plays a part in your behaviour because I believe we are products of our environment. Absolutely, we are. So, we are. But also the experiences that you had also has prepared you for what you're doing right now. But then it's those experiences that have got me to where I am now. I mean, you know, being from where I'm from, you become very hungry to want to do well. You know, you realise, you know, not to be rude and not take offence, you know, you want to do better than with the situation you're always in. That's true. So that kind of definitely, my experiences definitely motivated me to where I am now, why I push towards where I am now and where I am actually. So, let's talk about you now, okay? At least we've got to know a little bit about you. Now, Spiela. Yes. So, how did that come about? Okay, so after I kind of got help, like right mentoring and support and got myself in the right narrow, I was always good with computers, I was always good at science. So, you know, that's just kind of my two main things I was very interested in. Something that you were passionate about? Something I was very passionate about. How can I combine science and how can I combine football? Well, whether that be a social science, sorry, and not football, sorry, computing. So once I got myself sorted, I got myself into a private sixth form, managed to get a full ride to it, which was a very good experience for me. And that really started cultivating my ambitions and really pushing me to where I wanted to go. Went to university, graduated first class honours in digital media technology. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you very much. You know, I know sometimes you don't actually realize what has happened, okay? If you hadn't actually maybe gone to Uganda, if you hadn't had a strong mom who advised you and guided you at the time when you lost your brother and your dad, you wouldn't be sitting here. Definitely. You would have ended up maybe behind bars. Definitely. You know, so it's very important that the youth actually hear. No, definitely. How you've turned your life around. Definitely that, and you know, it's kind of after I graduated, then I then went to 2 business schools, graduated from them, and then you know, I always wanted to give back though, so kind of just you know, I was very fortunate to get myself out to where I am now, and I always look back at my community. I still volunteer now, I still help out with community schemes, projects. I've always had a hand in my community and just thought, how can I create something that's beneficial to young people, kind of gets their voice out, while still providing opportunities. And so that's how the concept of Spiela was born. So my company Spiela, it's Latin, the name of it, to persuade others with extravagant, argumentative, pervasive speech.
Persuasion.
Yeah, it's the really art of persuasion. So, you know, I kind of teach the young people just the best way to get what you want is to talk about what you want. Like, speak into existence, like share yourself and share a piece. And someone's always looking to see, and you know, the power of asking. Someone's always wants to help. You just have to put your best foot forward, and opportunities are there, but you have to go seek them. You have to go reach them.
But then the thing is, though, there are a lot of youth who are actually making a lot of noise out there who are saying that they're not being helped. Okay? They're saying they're asking questions and they're not being answered. They're not getting the help that you want. What would you say to the youth that are actually making those kind of comments?
It depends what they're looking for, these youth, because a lot of these youth, from what I find, they want immediate gratification. It's the mentality that's the issue. A lot of youth always, you know, it's always the same two things I hear, especially when I talk to young people: sports or music. You know,
yeah, because they look up to all the.
They look at that, but then it's a problem of what society shows us. Society only shows that black people can only really be good at sports, entertainment. When you know stuff like what I do, like I'm a scientist, or my friend could be a project manager. You know, my other friends and business analysts. That's not cool. It doesn't look cool.
It doesn't
it's not part
look
of the
cool.
culture. Like, it doesn't look as part of the culture. So, so the problem with that is when that doesn't happen, you know, they become very misguided. And they look at what worked quickly for other people and what looks great and what looks cool and how can I get that. So I guess my message to them is really find out what it is that makes you happy and pursue it. Don't just follow the crowd. Don't just look. You have to be your own person at some point. You have to be your own person regardless.
Absolutely.
For your peace of mind.
You have to be your own person.
Yeah, and not everyone wants to go that one route of being, for example, entertainment. So it's really finding your niche, finding what makes you work, and then trusting yourself and going into that. And again, being out there and asking, because the help, the services, and the people are there. It's up to you to go and find it.
And can you give us the full address for the Spiela, please, so somebody can log on and
So
find
the
it?
website, yeah. So currently now, my app is just finishing up the new design layer. So you can find it on the App Store. It's on iOS and it's on Android. Just type in Spiela, S-P-I-E-L-A. I'm also youth generated between the ages of I'll say 16 to 24. Of course, that could pivot.
Okay.
Yeah. So it really is just a case of right now we're changing ourselves to a storytelling format. So we're getting influential pieces from authors, politicians, writers, scholars. And so they're coming and sharing their piece, and we hope that inspires and engages young people to collaborate with them, to talk with them,
So
to
you've
seek
really got a
opportunities.
big genre of collaborations.
Yeah.
So it's like a one-stop shop.
Yes, a one-stop shop for youth. Yes, I mean for me, my selling point is my network. Through my years of my travels and kind of sitting on the global panel for the German Marshall Fund, being a global leader at youth summits and events, I've managed to be fortunate enough to connect with lots of influential people. So it's those influential
very
people.
beneficial, isn't it?
It's very beneficial when you get like one of Britain's top poets, or your friend's a pro boxer. Another friend of mine, works in business. I'm friends with a lot of entrepreneurs, CEOs, business owners, everyday kind of really heroes. And so for them to share their stories and hopefully inspires and motivates these young people to know that you can relate to them. These people came from the same humble beginnings of you, and they're telling you this is what you need to do. So it's up to you to how you digest it, how you take it, and how you proceed with it. And that's what we want to be there for, to give you that option to see how to digest it, to take it and pursue it.
And achieve your goals.
Exactly that.
That is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Anything else that you would like to share with the youth?
I guess being a young person today is really not easy. I mean, they've got so much pressures and so much things they have to worry about how they look. They're worried about how it's very we're very image driven, ego driven in this society now. The younger people, the young generation, they have to keep up, and they're resorting to such really violent means in order to feel special and wanted. So with youth, it's just finding what makes you happy and going for it, regardless of whatever anyone else thinks or believes. It's your life, this is your opportunity, and you really do pursue and go for it, and don't worry about it.
And it's not really following the crowd, isn't it? You've got to be your own leader.
You have to be your own leader, and it is tough, especially in this world of social media, peer pressure. The toughest thing I can say for a young person is being their own person, but it will pay off in the long run for you down the line when it's time for you to pursue and go for things by yourself. Because you're not going to go with everybody. Your crowd, you can't take the crowd with you on your own journey. So it's vital for you to find what works for you and pursue it regardless of whatever anyone else thinks.
And you did mention about mentoring because you had a mentor, that's why you managed to run your life around.
Yeah.
So I believe in Spiela, they can also get mentors there.
Yes. So Spiela, of course, can connect people to mentors as well, opportunities. So we do have mentor organisations and groups that people can reach out to that run events. And yeah, it's just a case of having to talk to someone. It could be an official mentor, it could be unofficial, but as long as you know there's someone that you can connect with, someone that you can relate to.
Is there a fee that they have to pay or is it free?
No, social network. I mean, it's free. There will be premium services, such as exclusive content, maybe, some of the events we hold, workshops. We do workshops with the council, so we're going to be working with Haringey Council. I've also launched a sports agency, so we've got a big football event we're putting on for young people on Wednesday where we have pro scouts from like Fulham, Chelsea.
What date is that?
Wednesday, 24th of October.
Okay.
And so, so creating football opportunities with my links. So it's being run by a pro footballer at the moment as well.
Okay.
Footballer. So trying to put as many events and things we can do for young people. Got a big festival coming out next year as well with the Ocean Council.
Are those the two main boroughs that you're working with?
Yeah, at the moment, yes.
Okay.
But of course, we have to expand later on as we grow. We're currently a team of 4, so it's myself and 3 other members, and we're just building it.
I think you should actually come to Croydon.
If you guys are Croydon council members, then yeah, I'm happy to take to Croydon. So yeah.
You should contact the councillors and then come and do something in Croydon.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the youth in Croydon would benefit
Definitely,
from your service. But then in the meantime, they can always go onto your website and get information.
So they can go there, keep up to date with everything. They can just sign on to the newsletter as well online, and they can we're active on social media as well. So you just type in Spiela on social media, you can see everything we're doing as well. And yeah, so I guess it's just keeping up with us and then making sure our job is to get as much opportunity and attention out to as many young people as possible.
As many as you can.
Yeah.
So the next event is going to be on the 24th.
So next one is next Wednesday. So it's a sports event. So yeah, it's a chance.
What are times?
9 till 3 p.m. So they're going to go through Premier League style and testing. So they go through that same testing that professional footballers go through, and then they'll play in front of scouts. And hopefully they're good enough, then scouts can talk to them.
Okay. It's an opportunity for them to show
It's an opportunity for them to showcase their skills, these young boys and girls. So yeah.
I like that.
Thank you
I like
very
that.
much.
Now, any questions? Anybody would like to?
So what was your website?
Oh, Spiela. So the website is so SPI.
Oh, SPI.
ELA. Yeah, so I would advise wait until Tuesday just because we've got a new design coming in.
Okay.
So I'd much rather you see it when the new design comes in. So it will be ready on Tuesday.
What is it for?
Oh, Spiela. Oh no, the app is mainly just an app. The website is www.spiela.co. So again, that's been redesigned along with our app as well. So.
What's the idea behind the name?
Pardon?
What was the idea behind
So the idea behind Spiela was, again, it was just how I want people to engage, I want people to talk, I want people to be expressive. So the only way, the main mantra is people get opportunities by being out there and being persuasive, being, argumentative if they need to be, being confident in their approach. And again, Spiel is Latin for to persuade others with extravagant, argumentative, pervasive speech. So that kind of inspired the name of the company.
Okay.
Took a very long time to find that as well. So
What's a long time?
3-4 months to actually come up with a name. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, sure.
I'd like to ask you, how did you change your life? How did you go from the mindset you had as a youth, or when you were going through family challenges, etc., to where you are today?
I'm going to be very, very honest with you, and it's not something I like to promote or because I feel like within a black community, within a black community, I just feel like there's so many things we can do better. But I went from a very hood environment, a very bad environment, which was predominantly black kids from my upbringing. My sixth form was very rich, very white, and it was very selective. And the education, you can tell, is a huge difference between what we got and what I got there. So it was just about what's around me, being part of my environment. So I would come out, when I go to my school, I'd come out and just see gangs, I'd see violence, I'd see chicken shops everywhere. But when I went to the sixth form, I was seeing mansions, nice cars, celebrities were walking around. Yeah, my school chancellor was a multi-millionaire. Like these are people that were giving me freebies, giving me free advice. The governors were, even the school visitors you'd get like normal rappers or singers in school. I was getting MPs and head of governments as my school speakers. So All of
So
those
they were
things,
preparing you.
they prepared you. That school groomed many Cambridge Oxford students and many successful students that we are now. We're an alumni at the moment, and everyone is very successful at the moment with it. So I would definitely say it's that environment, unfortunately, that played a part in it. It's just being going from one environment to another. And that made me, that inspired me to want to do and be
I
better.
want to do better.
So I looked at that and said, I want this, I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to do this, I want to do that. So,
You are doing a fabulous job.
thank you.
Also, you mentioned about Lucian Council.
Yes, I work with the Lucian Council at the moment, yes.
So is there a department in Lucian Council that we can get?
So, to be honest, with regards to if you want to work with Lucian, connect with Lucian, it's Youth First is the actual name of the organisation. So they broke off, Lucian Youth Services got cancelled. So they created a branch, a bunch of social workers came together and cut that off and created their own version called Youth First. And that's based in Lucian as well, it's in Bellingham. So if you ever want to connect with that.
Is that in that Bellingham Centre?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Youth First is what is officially Lucian's Youth Services.
Okay.
Yes, I find what you're talking about very interesting.
Thank you.
But then I wanted to chip in something and ask something at the same time. I realized that a lot of the problems the youth have has to do with different culture, with shock. Coming from Africa, living here.
Yeah.
People don't really address that. That affects the mind.
Yeah.
But then they label it as mental illness, but it's not really. Because if somebody has mental illness and you put them in a place where there's peace, mental illness dies. So it's not really mental illness. Drug cannot do it. So what I'm proposing, or what I would like to do, is to work with people like yourself and other organizations, because I'm an artist. And I understand the power of creation. And I also understand that although they seem to label black people, musicians, go to sing, go to run, go to box. But you see, you can do those careers, but you see, you might not be happy.
Yeah.
You can make the quick bucks,
Yeah.
but you can go into drugs and stuff because of the kind of climate you're around.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what I think is the problem is this. I think the educational system has a lot of faults, which some of them I understand how it works, because I came from an educational background. But then, what I'm proposing is how I can bring my art and do workshops to change the way people think and the way youth see life. Because there's creativity in the sciences, only if you can take your mind away from the board, what is written. You're doing this, and you can be a creative scientist, you can be a creative engineer, you can be creative anything you do. But you cannot be as creative as an artist because that's where they live. No man can swim like a fish. Because the fish lives in water. So people have to understand these things. And these are the things you cannot really teach. They don't teach you in school. So this is where I propose that I should come into that kind of environment where I can talk to the young people and make them to understand those things you are saying. Because what you are saying, they've had it before. Be your own person. It's not going to do it. You got to explain how they can be their own person. And that's where people like me come into it. So I would like to do something to help you, because I think what you guys are doing is very good. But somebody has to bridge the gap between hearing what you're saying, understanding what you're saying, and being able to achieve it. You get it now. So I'm asking the artist. And I'll talk to you.
So can I just say to what you said last, Claudine, who is the lady, she said if you have a vision, if you have something that you're planning to do, why don't you put it together and present it to, I understand what you're trying to say to the young man, but I think, if you have a vision, if you have what you just explained to us, impacting their lives and using art to reach out to them, then you need to package that and actually go to the council, the people. Governments are interested in that. If you're well packaged, I'm sure they'll be.
They are. No, they are definitely. I mean, even now, I'm starting a project with Haringey Council as well, in Tottenham Football Club. It's sports related, though, because we run merge education with it. So you make a very good point. Governments are there to listen to you. They do want to do it, but it's how you present to them. I mean, I'll be honest. My experience is working with councils so far. They really, if you're going to spend money, they really want to know where every single penny is going into. So again, your plan has to come very good. It has to be kind of have social impact to it. So you have to write down in detail. This is what they're after. This is how it's going to help. So it's kind of like making sure you have your impact report ready. So yeah, it can be done as long as it's done right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Fabulous audiences. What I would just like to say if you have a story to share, if you have a business to promote, if you have something that you know somebody is going to benefit from, why are you sitting on it? Come and share. Because there are people out there who want to hear your story. There are people out there who want a piece of your knowledge, So get in contact and we will meet you and come on the show and share your story. I always like to end the show with a quote. And today I have a quote by the famous author of all time, Napoleon Hill. He says, "You can be anything you want to be if only you believe with sufficient conviction and act in accordance with your faith. For whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." Ladies and gentlemen, use your mind wisely, and whatever you believe, trust me, you can achieve it. Until next time, thank you so much and God bless.